I'm Trixie the Golden Witch. Welcome to the Stoop. Today I'm reviewing the latest track from Redveil, '04, and I have to say, I think it's pretty alright.
What you reviewing? What you reviewing? What you reviewing?
I think it's pretty alright. Redveil is an artist I became aware of because of the fact that Spotify just started pushing his music to me at some point, and as usual, its algorithm works pretty well. What I find his sound most comparable to is actually probably a friend of mine, Dyron Miller, from down in Houston. Has a kind of similar flow and overall sound. They both are definitely taking from the camp of what Earl Sweatshirt's been doing in the last 5 years or so, stuff like Sloss and Malone, where you've got these really noisy, repetitive samples in the beats that are sort of overpowering and clangy and loud, and the voices are sort of swimming through that. So, it's vibey, it's eccentric. Redveil is definitely the more fun artist in this sound. Like, when Earl does it and when a lot of other artists do it, it sounds sort of tortured and low and dark. I would say that Redveil doesn't sound like he's having such a miserable time, it's not as dark, and it's not trying to make as grand of a statement as some of those other artists are. Redveil is a little bit more regular and personal, and I would say, reading through these lyrics, what am I saying to a kid that he ain't heard? Probably nothing, but these lyrics are fairly standard. It's not that they're bad or even cliche necessarily. Every crevice that they build and gets disturbed. Aim this molly at the top. Ain't gonna bleed if they don't burn. Speeding through Ephesians. I've been trying to heal up all this hurt. Shit since '04. I've been in my Birkin. She like, why you stay taking flights? I'm like, shit, I'm working. I like these bars. I think some of them are really fun. I think it's a little hard to make out most of them throughout the actual song because it is so chaotic and loud. And, I would say that the first thing grabbing my ear is definitely not the rap. It's not the bars. I got the beat stuck in my head way quicker. I don't know how involved Redveil is on the production end or anything of these tracks, or what drives the choices that he makes in what he's picking. But I got the beat in my head off of hearing it just once, and I enjoyed it. So this is definitely a song that even if it didn't strike me right away as a classic track or something that I needed to hear again or had these amazing bars, I could see listening to it again and again and again in the background. It's a song that if this was on an album that I was just going to listen to that album a whole bunch, or if I just wanted to put on Redveil and kind of marinate in this sound, I think it's good for that. And, I think Redveil sounds good enough on the song that it's not like this would be better off without rap. It's not like a beat that I would just casually listen to by itself, even though I like it quite a bit. I think it's, it's held together. It's the whole sound is sort of glued together by the presence of the vocals on the track. So it sounds good. It's just not extremely standout because there's not bars that I'm reading and thinking oh man, that bar is really going to stick with me, or that flow is super going to stick with me. It's more the whole of the track, the holistic feeling of this vibe and mood that it puts forward that I can see getting behind and returning to, and especially if it fits nicely into a larger project. There's a little bit of switchiness on the beat, but not a whole lot. It's mostly pretty straightforward, pretty short, like a lot of Redveil's songs are. So I would say that, as an artist, Redveil is someone who I come to for the fact that they have a very particular sound and atmosphere that they're going for. I would say that I don't have a great sense of who this person is, what they uniquely bring as a rapper, so much as a person who has a certain taste that I can very much understand what Redveil wants their sound to be, what they're trying to put forward, more so than a more personal angle of it. And maybe you could consider the music itself to be a very personal angle, choosing beats at all is a very personal kind of endeavor in itself, and I understand that as a rapper. But I'm curious to see if Redveil is around for a long time, how they're going to evolve, what will be different about this sound, if it becomes more personal or more experimental or darker or lighter, like what emotional direction this project goes in beyond, where it's been so far. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty decent song. Not one of my favorites, but one that, continues my interest in this artist and makes me want to see where they're going to go. So if you want to see where I'm going to go, subscribe to the channel. Here on Branches of Ygg, we got music reviews and analysis. I have artist interviews. There's my own projects, as well as the stuff that I do with my collaborator, producer, editor, Vizier, who runs this channel. Check all that out. Subscribe to Ygg Studio if you want to see anime analysis. And don't forget that music is veiled in red.